Hello everybody, Volen here in Pursuit of Art. This is a video for those who start and stop, who take a step or two in the right direction and then just stand there and look around, maybe even look back, sometimes go back, and then wonder what to do. For those who are so confused they just keep running around in place and are not moving in any direction because there's just too many ways that they could go to. For those that are in schools or in jobs that they have no relationship with, that are put there and endure them, but at the same time can't take the next step to move themselves to where they want to go to. For those who can see the finish line 1,000 miles away, but can't take the next step that's going to take them there because it just seems too insignificant. I've met a lot of people that have pretty much decided or have stopped themselves before they've even started for no apparent reason that I could ever see. People that have just decided, this is what I want, but I'm never gonna get it. Because of that, they just don't work on it, or they go so slow that their progress is insignificant over years. If you just take a single step every single day, it's gonna take you a very long time to get back to where you started from. But if you're always thinking about whether or not this is the right step, what direction it's going to take you to, if it's worth doing or how much effort it's going to take you, or are you going to persevere, if you doubt yourself, if you think that, well, I'm going to start this, but I don't know if it's going to work out, or I don't know if I'll finish. If you doubt yourself, if you don't trust yourself that you'll be able to just take that next step, you'll never be able to go the entire distance. You just won't gain the momentum. You just will take so long that you won't be able to stay motivated to take that next step. You won't be able to see the accumulated improvement of all your effort. And also, you're going to disempower yourself so much by thinking that it's not possible, that it will really take you more energy to go in that direction than to just stay in place. I was actually curious about what causes depression, because a lot of people that write to me, and I myself have had a lot of trouble with that. So what depression actually does biologically is that it's a mechanism. If it wasn't benefiting you in some way, it just wouldn't exist. It wouldn't have developed evolutionarily. What depression does is that it's supposed to keep you dormant, so that if you are about to do something that the outcome of is most likely fruitless. So if it's something that will not benefit you, but you have decided that this may be the course of action, if you get depressed, your brain is going to keep you in place for long enough that you decide to not take action. So if we describe this in caveman terms, and this is very broad, and I'm not anyone that's qualified in any way, I'm just giving you some info that I've read that you may find interesting. Double check everything and find your own resources, obviously. If you're a caveman and you've decided that you're going to chase this mammoth, or you're going to maybe go and hunt a lion, there's just no food where you are. There's no food, you're starving. You're going to go and hunt that lion, right? If you get depressed, and this is probably likely to happen anyway, when you're starving, little resources, you're more susceptible to bad chemistry. Your brain is already suppressed to some degree. Now, if your brain makes you depressed also, you're a lot less likely to act, to do anything, because chasing that lion may be a bad idea. And what if the weather within, let's say, a week picks up and everything is better? So if you just survived and did nothing, within a week you may find food. But if you go and hunt for that lion, you may end up dead. You may get the payoff of having some meat, but it's most likely that you're not gonna, it's not gonna go well for you. Your brain makes you depressed. You stay in your cave for a week or two, weather picks up, you didn't hunt the lion, you survived. Depression helped. At the same time, when we don't have any of those dangers anymore, when you're just faced with a choice of, am I going to do what I have to do, but there's nothing chasing me, nothing making me do it. What if it's the wrong decision? What if it's paralyzing? Too many choices. I'm here to tell you though, that you don't really have a choice. If you've found something that you like, or even if it's not something that you like, if you've just started on a path, even if you hate what it is that you do. When I started doing art, I've said this many times, I hated doing it because I sucked very much. So it was painful doing it. Anything that I would do in relation to that would hurt. But that pain would make me go, I can't possibly suck at something. I need to get better. I'm gonna do this until I get better. So this is what drove me. Even though it's bad, even though it doesn't feel good, I would still do it. Then after a certain amount of time, it feels good because you have some degree of control, some degree of mastery, your chemistry changes, you can do that thing more. So you don't necessarily even need to like it. What you do need to do is you need to commit to something. If you have no mastery that you've developed yet, and I assume that most people that are watching these are somewhere at beginning stages of their journeys, of art or of mastery in general. I'm assuming that you, like I, probably have gone through school, maybe through university, not having learned almost anything. The biggest thing that I've learned from learning how to do art is essentially how to learn. That's the biggest thing that I learned. I didn't learn that from school, I didn't learn that from university. One thing that I implicitly learned from those places is that no one was going to teach me anything, that I needed to go and look for whatever it is that I wanted. So they didn't teach me that overtly, and it took 15 years for me to get it, but I realized that no one is going to hand it to me. I need to figure out what are the things that I need to learn, and I need to go get them. I learned that I'm not going to find a place where there are going to be people that are going to unlock within me what it is that I need to do. I need to find that, I need to do it, and then I need to go for it. If you've decided that art is your thing, or if you have nothing else that you're doing, and this is your one thing that you're developing, if you quit now, if you decide that this is not what you're going to do, I can guarantee you there's nothing else that's easier. Mastery, regardless of what it's in, requires the same amount of effort. That's why there are books, many books now, written about it, and it's been thoroughly researched because it translates from human being to human being. There are universal principles of how our brains work and of how we work. Deliberate practice, effortful, disciplined, daily commitment to getting better, incremental improvements, and just doing that, persevering, going day after day after that thing. It doesn't matter if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be an artist, if you want to be a military person, it doesn't really matter. Everything is the same. An athlete trains the same as an artist. One is mental, the other physical. Both require the same thing. An athlete changes their muscles, but it's the brain that refines all the motor movements. So they strengthen their muscles, but it's the brain that really has all the memory of all the different movements that they need to perform. So that's why they have to focus and repeat. Same as what we do. We find shapes, we find colors, we find value, whatever it is that we do. We memorize form, we memorize designs, we see something, we practice it, we commit it to memory. The movement of the hand, the movement or just the appearance of the shape, we do that same thing. We are athletes, mental athletes, and this is what we do. You may decide that something else is easier and you want to go for that. I doubt that once you start and you're 6 months into it that you'll find that it's any easier. There may be a job that you can get that just gets you some money, and that's the easy way out, but mastery, regardless of what it's in, I would say is just as hard. And as I said before, I've met people that before they've even started, they've decided, I'm gonna do this, but they haven't really decided. They've just said in their head, it would be kind of nice if I did that. It's kind of a good idea and I have no idea what else to do. So I'm gonna kind of do that. So they dabble and they stay on it for years and they never improve. And what that leads to is that it leads to eroding the confidence that you have in yourself. You learn to not trust yourself because you'll say, yes, I'll do it, and then you won't. And then you don't trust yourself that whatever it is that you say that you're gonna do, that you're actually gonna do it. Because how could you? How could you trust someone that says, I'm gonna go run tomorrow, and then they don't? And 6 months later, did you go run once? Well, maybe, I'm not too sure. I think I went a few times. Now, if you say to yourself, if you're that person, if you say, well, I'm gonna run tomorrow, how could you possibly trust yourself after 6 months of not having done it? So mastery isn't just a craft. It's not just in a certain field. It's not just a certain sphere that you get better at. You don't just get better at art as you try to become an artist. You get better as a person, which is why I had the video of becoming the right person some time ago. They're related. You can't have one without the other. You can't be an awesome artist and be an asshole. Obviously, that's actually not true. You can very well blend those together, but my argument is that if you're not really a master if that's the case, because it's more than likely that you've developed it as a kid. Your talent, you got good very early on. You never had to go through the thorny path of mastery. You just developed it unconsciously. Same as if I counted my ability to speak, a language as mastery. Like I just have this. I didn't really have to work for it. For English or for any other language that I know, if I learned it as a kid, I didn't really have to work at it very hard. So if someone gave me praise for it and I took it and I thought I was awesome just because I can speak, I would more than likely be an asshole to people that can do it, because it's so easy. I don't understand what you mean. And then I will also not try to do new things that show other people that I'm not great at everything. I will try to keep up this image of I'm awesome, I can do everything, no problem, just don't make me do anything new, because I will not do it. Mastery, if done at a conscious age, let's say over about 20, so the people that are starting later, don't feel bad about it, because what you get to do is you get to go the long way about it. You get to go through the thorny way, which means that you develop not only your craft but your character. And the mastery that you develop is not only of the craft but of yourself, because it's harder when you do it over 20. It's harder when you're in debt. It's harder when you live in a foreign country. It's harder when you have no support. It's harder when you already have a job. It's harder if you have a family. It's harder if you have many things that are coming from everywhere, and you still have to do it. But you also develop character. So don't give up on that. Don't think that there's an easier way. If you have nothing else that you're doing, then keep on working on this. Keep working on it. It will not be easier to do something else. It will just be as hard, and you will have lost whatever investment you've already put into this in terms of time. If you're working on something else and you decide this is a better fit for me, go for it. Again, mastery is the same. As long as you put in that effortful practice, keep examining your thought process, keep thinking of how can I make this just a little bit better? How can I stick to the process better? How can I make tomorrow better than today? Repeating that same routine, 1% better, 0.5% better every day. And every day you will probably fail, but what you'll do is that you'll learn. You'll see your weakness. Okay, I need to work on this. I need to work on my discipline. I need to insert breaks. I need to maybe take some time and walk with a friend. I need to have something at some point in the week that relaxes me. Or I need to tighten up. I never get to work. I need to build this schedule in a certain way that I can always do it, so that I don't have work to blame or friends to blame or whatever it may be. It's up to you, but you cannot not do it. Because if you don't, not only will your mastery and your craft suffer, and by the way, if you are good at anything, the world is yours. People are going to look for you, you're going to have more opportunity, you're going to have fulfilling work. And if you can't do anything, if you don't have mastery, if you've gone through school expecting that that's enough, just because you've gone through it, and somehow things should just come to you, which is what I thought should happen, because that's the narrative. If that's where you are, sorry to say, you have to start over. And then once you start doing it, and you learn what actually everything is like and how things work and what is valuable and how you can contribute value, you are going to be happier, because the things that you do are not going to be abstract and weird. It's not going to be this thing of, well, if I do this, this might happen. It will be, if I do this, I know this will happen. You will know how to have control over what's happening through you and around you. You will know, if I do this, this is what's going to happen. I can expect that. Don't give up before you start. Don't say to yourself, not me. Don't just dabble in it. Go for it. It will never be any easier. It is as hard for you as it is for everyone else. And if others have done it, you can do it too. There's no reason to assume no. There's a lot of reason. Why not? Why not? People have done amazing things. People are right now somewhere in space. People are right now somewhere underground or underwater. Why not you? Why not you? What's the big deal about this? Recognize hue, recognize value, memorize some shapes, done. What, you think your brain can't do that after you've evolved from some crazy fish worm thing to what you are now? Absolutely you can. Get it done.